The problem has always been, no matter how far you dig down into the human brain, you'll never identify something that is consciousness. But the Swapper has taught us that the mind is some fundamental part of the universe which is not physical, and which we can now control.
Alright, well, hello everybody. My name is Nobody Special. Today I'm going to do something a little different. This is not going to be a live commentary. I just found it too difficult to really look over my notes and stuff like that and kind of have a good thought process while I was playing this game. Because, it's a puzzle game. It's really hard to do both at the same time. So, I'm going to record this audio separately from this. So this is some gameplay that I did over today, I guess. I've only been playing for about maybe an hour and a half, so it's not too much. There's going to be more parts in the future. I just need to, talk over them too. I'm probably going to do this more often with this series just because it helps so much. But regardless, today I wanted to talk about solar sail technology. I know that, back when I was playing this at 5 a.m., I tried to talk about interstellar travel with the Alcubierre warp drive and stuff like that. But I wasn't able to go into much detail, mainly because it was 5 in the morning. So, to start really, nearly 400 years ago, Europe, was still involved in naval exploration and, mainly in the Americas and stuff like that. And Joseph Kepler, I guess, I'm not sure if he was a scientist. Maybe he was I think he was an astronomer. I do know that the Kepler Space Telescope is named after him. He proposed exploring the galaxy using sails. He proposed the idea that, that idea after observing the tails of comets that were blowing in a cosmic breeze. Air quotes our own cosmic breeze, mainly because there's no pressure in space, because there's no air, there's no gas, and of course there's no gravity, but regardless, everybody knows that space is a near vacuum, so there's no breeze. Naturally, that idea was disproven in, the way future, stuff like that, once we've started getting up there and stuff like that, and testing the actual consistency. But, the way solar sails work, it's kind of, in a sense, similar to Joseph Kepler's little observation, but it uses light to move instead of, wind. The continuous force exerted from sunlight on the solar sails, which we'd feel it too, but gravity's just so overpowering over it that you wouldn't even notice it. It's very minute. But the thing about that, minuscule amount of force being applied is that it's constant. It's not a one-time thing like a rocket engine. It's constantly beating down on the solar sail, accelerating it more and more. And that's why it's so much more efficient too, mainly because it's free. It's the sun. I mean, you can't really run out of solar energy, or at least not for another 5 billion years. But yeah, the continuous force exerted from the sunlight, it would take a large, ultra-thin, mirror-like sail, like something that's completely minuscule in thickness compared to a sheet of paper. Even something that thin, just thin that down like about 10 times. But light is composed of electromagnetic radiation. It's photons. It's massless particles. Particles going at the speed of light don't have mass. They're light, or electromagnetic, I should say. Radiation, radio waves, I think. I'm not sure. I'm not going to go that deep into the electromagnetic spectrum, but it exerts force on an object when it comes in contact with it, and that's exactly how solar sails work. As I said, it beats down on the sails, it gives it a constant acceleration, and it doesn't take much, really, especially in the vacuum of space. 1 AU, or an astronomical unit, which is about 93 million miles, or from the distance from the Earth to the Sun, it can produce about 1.4 kilowatts of energy by pushing onto the solar sail. And divide that by the speed of light, or 672 million miles an hour, we'd find that the force exerted by the sun is about 9 newtons. And newtons is a measurement of gravity by, just in case you guys didn't know. But a comparison for that, Space Shuttle's main engine produced about 1 1.67 million newtons of force during liftoff and about 2.1 million newtons in a vacuum. But those solar sails, speed at first at least is very slow. It builds up. The sails are made of a reflective material about 100 times thinner than a sheet of paper. It's called CP-1. I'm not quite sure what it stands for, but it's what NASA uses at least. But what I don't remember what this organization was called. I think it was called Planetary Science or something like that. But they have an aircraft called Cosmos 1, and it uses an aluminum reinforced mylar, which is 1/4 the thickness of a one-ply trash bag. Now that's pretty thin, in case you didn't know. That's it's very delicate. I can imagine it takes a lot of care to handle. And reflection is key with these solar sails. Photons bounce off the reflective surface, gently pushing the sail along in the vacuum, obviously, and transferring momentum from the photon to the sail. And because there are so many photons constantly hitting the sail, there's a constant pressure exerted, exerting constant acceleration, making things just slowly build up speed and pretty much not stopping. It's going to keep going. And to give you an idea on how fast this thing can actually go, it can achieve 56 miles every second, which is about it's more than 200,000 miles an hour. Getting there, that would take less than an hour getting from here to the moon, which is normally a 3-day trip. And that's about 10,000 times faster than a shuttle orbit speed, which is, I want to say, 5 miles a second. But using solar sails, it takes about 8 years to catch up with Voyager, which, in case you haven't been paying attention to the news recently, just got into interstellar space finally after so many different tries, and that's currently 30 years away. So it would take 8 years to catch up with that. And it's way past Neptune, way past the Kuiper Belt where Pluto is. But I'm sure you're wondering, how exactly is it going to get all that momentum built up once it's far away from the sun, where photons don't generally have as much presence, if that makes any sense. Like, if you're too far away, the sun's force is not strong enough really to hit the shields. Well, to counteract that, you could have a laser or a magnetic beam transmitter, and you could push the sail with like this artificial UV sun, like some people have UV lamps, stuff like that. Just imagine something a lot more powerful than that, pushing onto the sail from the ship. It would generate a lot of speed, and it would also be constant, so it would work. And using that, you could get to an additional 18,600 miles a second. That's pretty wicked, alright? I don't think anything can really go that fast, at least that we know of naturally. No, I'm pretty sure nothing naturally can go that fast. Maybe a particle or, photon, stuff like that. But other than that, not really anything. And in case you didn't know, 18,600 miles a second is 1/10 the speed of light. That's pretty intense. And also, the way they get these things up into space is through, naturally, through a rocket. And that's the only part of this process I guess a rocket would really be used in. The rocket would take the ship and the solar sail, but the solar sail would be folded, packed nicely, kind of like the American flag on the moon. It's got supports to keep it straight and stuff like that, but now it would be folded kind of like an umbrella. And it would launch into space, get into the orbit, and then once it was comfortable, it would shed the outer shell, like the protective casing, I guess, that they use to get it up into space. And the solar sail would unfold. It would unfold to larger than like maybe 2 or 3 football fields. These things get gigantic. And the bigger the surface area, the more photons you'd be able to capture, and the faster you'd be able to go quicker. So that's always useful, more surface area and stuff like that. But of course, that's more you have to watch out for, more you have to fold and stuff like that. It's very delicate. It would take a lot of care to use, but once you do get it, it's very useful. So it would unfold, connect to the spacecraft, and I'm not sure if this is the actual way they would do it, but they'd kind of do a flyby of the sun. They'd use, I guess, maybe a bit of fuel and push themselves towards the sun, do a little orbit around it, gathering all those photons, and then slingshot out. And that would create a lot of speed, especially that close to the sun. It would be very, very high concentration in protons, and that would just make it so much easier to gain speed very quickly. So that would give them a burst of speed, and then plus, of course, as they're moving away, more photons would hit. The speed would naturally increase more and more and more, and boom, then you'd, probably make it to Voyager, I guess, in 8 years. Unless you use the beam transmitter or the laser and stuff like that, and you'd go even faster. But the cool thing is, with this kind of technology and how fast you're actually able to go with a constant acceleration like that, interstellar travel is very possible. Maybe not within just one lifetime, maybe two, but in a sense, it's very possible. And that thing's awesome, just because we're so primitive in our space exploration timeline, if that makes any sense. We're still kind of emerging from the caves and inventing the wheel, trying to find a way to make this easier for everyone.
You made it. Good show. But we're running out of time. Dennett and I, we underestimated the Watchers. We have to stop them. Looks like gravity control's inactive. Get it online and come help me here.
I remember this part. Something interesting is about to happen. It's going to make this game a lot more complex. Oh yeah, also, I forgot to mention, just in case you guys didn't know, I'm now currently in college. I'm in a dorm room right now. My roommate's out. But hopefully I'll be able to produce these videos as fast as I'd like, mainly because, it's fun. I love playing this game. It's just sometimes I never get a chance to. And it's been very hectic recently, especially with the large move. I mean, I've moved from Biloxi, Mississippi, all the way to Franklin, Massachusetts, and that's a very long way away. So it's going to take some getting used to, but hopefully I'll be able to produce these videos, maybe finish this damn game for once, because I've been doing it since June, and it's now September. I really love this game, I just don't have any time to play it. But I will, continue to do videos with people like Istvan, or Die the Ninja, DKC, the real original. They're all great guys, and I love doing videos with them, so of course I'm not going to give that up just because the new schedule. I'll always find room and stuff like that, so hopefully it'll be a lot easier. Or at least easy enough for me to be able to do this regularly.
You're here. Good. This is the first Watcher we ever discovered. The Head. It sorts, filters, and distributes the thoughts of every Watcher in broadcast range. It also killed the crew. They're like every other living being in that respect. You corner them, and the defense mechanisms kick in. Very effective. Something in the air. We probably have a few hours to live. Unfortunately, these things are practically indestructible. There's no time to jettison them all and nowhere to run. You're going to have to engage it with a swapper device and take control. Once the Watcher mind is in your body, it'll be harmless. Once you're in there, just try to keep it together until I can come and pull you out. I wish you luck, but honestly, it should be straightforward enough. Get away from that thing. That isn't going to work. There's only one way to do this, and it's mine.
Well, anyway, with that, guys, my name's Nobody Special. Please like the video, comment on the video, tell me what you think. Give me some ideas for science topics that you might want to hear, any questions you have, and I'll see you in the next video.